name is Luca, and I've been thinking about the seasons change. And I wonder if you have too. There's something interesting that I think happens when the seasons change, but only if we're paying attention, yeah? We start wanting different things. We notice something in the outside world, but we also might start to notice things in the inside world. Like we might start to find we want something different on our plates before we're even consciously aware of the fact that maybe the season has changed and we should change how we eat. Have you noticed that your kitchen starts to change before the season really starts to show up everywhere else? Or have you noticed maybe that the foods that you're craving or the things you're wanting to eat are really different than they were even like a month ago? So I'm recording this in late August, and I don't know if you've noticed this already. The mornings are cooler, the nights are definitely colder, the light is changing. I just came back from a walk down by the Silver Springs in my neighborhood, and the colors are starting to change already. And here, of course, in Alberta, there's sometimes this shift into fall doesn't just come gradually. It kind of feels like somebody flips a switch. And suddenly those cold and light summer meals that we were featuring a mere 2-3 weeks ago just don't hit the same way. They don't seem as appealing. So you start thinking about different things you might want to have. And for me, I'm finding I want more soups when these seasons start to change. I want more roasted vegetables, more earthy kind of things, yeah? Like those root veg and the squashes. I want something on my stovetop bubbling away in my really big orange pot. I want something to be bubbling quietly in the corner. This kitchen, the shift of the season, it starts to become a more inviting place, a warmer place, and kind of the heart of the home is how I see it. This is one of the reasons why I'm such a believer in eating with the seasons. There's other reasons why, but it also just hits right. Like if you start to pay attention to it, you'll start to notice that it just feels right. Our bodies are not static throughout the year. We move differently through different seasons. We move differently through different environments, different amounts of light, different temperatures, and different rhythms. Yeah? And historically, our food actually always changed along with that. But here we are in our current modern way of being. And we can get whatever we want at whatever time of year, whether or not it is something that would have 100 years ago been available at that time of year. So we ate 150 years ago even, we ate more of what was available locally. We would eat what was growing in our own yards, in our own gardens, in our own big fields, whatever was being harvested, what could be stored, what we could preserve, what we'd be able to salt and let ferment away down in the cold rooms. Whatever we could gather towards the end of deep summer into the startings of fall. That is a food that traditionally would have taken us across those colder months. So there was this natural conversation that was always happening between the environment, our kitchen, and our bodies. And fall is such a beautiful example of this. The summer is about abundance and outward growth. Yeah, there's like you look in the garden and things are going up. If you know any kids who go to school in June when they leave, you see them back in September and you think they've grown half a foot to a whole foot in the summer's absence. Fall is a little bit different. If you start to pay attention, if you look outside into the natural world, fall is literally falling, right? The leaves are falling. The energy of the plant that was reaching for the sun is now starting to turn inwards and dropping many things and going back to its roots. So you can think of it this way. Fall is a way to bring us downward, to bring us inward. What would it feel like if the way we moved through our days mimicked what was happening outside our doors? The garden is giving up the last of its harvest right about now. Roots, squashes, they're starting to come into their own. Hit any market, hit any grocery store that likes to showcase the local growth, and you will find all kinds of squashes and root vegetables in abundance. It doesn't matter where you are. Apples, pears starting to show up everywhere. My apple tree's been dropping apples for the last 3 weeks already at the time of this recording. Cabbages, cauliflower, green onions, garlic, like so much is being harvested right now. I dare say, I think fall is the most delicious season of all. There are meats that are starting to show up, and it's time to start getting slow cooking. It's time to start thinking of how to preserve this end of season bounty in order to have things tucked away for later. This kitchen of mine, this kitchen you inhabit, it starts to become a place of gathering, or potentially can become this place of gathering, a place of preparation, and a place of marking the season and making the most out of what it is we have. One of my favorite things about the fall, if you look through ancestral ways of knowing, through the lens of traditional Chinese medicine, fall has a main organ and a less important, or a sort of corresponding organ is what we'll call it. Every season has one. And fall, through the lens of the traditional Chinese medicine, the main organ is the lungs, and the secondary organ is the large intestine. Well, that's interesting. Why would that be? Well, the symbolism here, totally interesting to me. In what do the lungs do in their capacity? What is it that they do? Well, the lungs take in what's in your environment to utilize the oxygen, yeah? So they take in the new. The corresponding organ is the large intestine. Well, what's the job of a large intestine? It's to let go of what no longer serves you. Pooping! I always have to slip that in there. Is this not what's happening in nature? Is this not what's happening outside during the fall season? Take a look outside. There's the letting go of leaves. Their energies are moving from reaching for the sun to going down towards the roots, because those leaves are going to fall, decompose, and nourish next year's growth. Kind of like what we do going inwards when the weather starts to turn outside the front door. So there's this beautiful seasonal theme of gathering what it is that we need and allowing what we no longer need to fall away. Kind of like what our lungs and our large intestine do. This is ancestral wisdom right there, pal. Like, this is what I love about it, if we're paying attention. I am a fan of keeping things real, hey? So I have a proposition for you. You don't have to overhaul your diet. Don't worry, you're not going on a restrictive thing. You're not going to do lots, but I do have a proposal. You don't need to suddenly become this person who makes everything from scratch, so don't run away if you think that's what's coming. What if you simply start noticing, like just paying attention? What's happening in your environment? What happens when you step outside? What's changing in the landscape? Maybe what's changing in your own garden? What's abundant right now when you go to the shops or when you're going to the market? What is showing up? What is there a plenty of that you can buy that's now at the lowest price for the year? You can also look in the natural world. You can also think about this and going for a walk and noticing what's happening in your area, maybe a place that you frequent on a semi-regular basis so you can see what's shifting. Well, you can also think of it of what are you naturally craving, like food-wise? What is your body asking for? Are there certain cookbooks that you like to go to when the season turns to fall? Is there a specific type of cooking that you start to introduce that hasn't been around for a couple of months? What happens if you make more of these foods? What would that be like? And what happens when your kitchen starts to reflect what is happening outside? This is everything that's behind the idea of my seasonal table series that I've been doing this past year. And we're about to launch the fall part of things. So what we're doing, it's an 8-week seasonal exploration. We're doing recipes. We're doing some seasonal guidance and ideas of how to be in the season, with the season, and immerse ourselves into it. There's going to be a handout to use as a guide through the season. There's a group chat where we're going to share what it is that we're making, and of course, recipes at every turn. And it's not about building this perfect plan on the plate or doing meal planning or anything like that. This is about playing with your food and noticing what happens when you bring your kitchen back into conversation with the season. Because there's this beautiful synergy when what is on our plate matches what's happening outside. You start to help build safety for the body. Your body's always asking the question, what kind of day is this going to be? And part of what she's looking to answer is, where are we and what time of day is it and what time of year is it? And when what is on our plate matches what's happening outside, this is information that helps answer that question better for your nervous system in particular. And when we do this and we provide that information of this is the season it is and this is where we are through the foods we feature, this now helps to de-escalate some of what drives our symptoms. And it helps reset our circadian rhythms. Yeah, I never said this wouldn't be delicious. So if fall is carrying you towards warmer meals, slower cooking, gathering, fermenting, grounding, putting up the harvest, preserving, or witnessing, maybe listen to it. And if you're game to do it with a little bit of us, there's going to be a wee gang of us gathering. Come join us. It's the Fall Seasonal Table. I look forward to seeing you there.